Welcome back. This is still iBrand Daybreak. Yes, right now we'll go straight into the main discourse for the day, and it's something I know you would love us to talk about, and it's about marriage. Success?
Okay, so now it can be tempting for couples who are engaged to focus on planning their wedding day and ignore preparations for the lifetime commitment that begins after the cake is cut. Now we have in the studio is relationship expert in person of Adejoke Adumbi David, and she's going to be helping us identify areas for growth in relationship and how to start on the right foot before they walk down the aisle. Or should I say before we walk down the aisle? In this case.
You have an idea of a married.
Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you. Welcome.
Okay, so she said I should call her Olori AJ. And I like that name. That's what we're sticking to on the show today. Okay, welcome, Olori.
Thank you so much. I'm so delighted to be here.
Okay, so I wanted to start by understanding the importance, basically, of asking the right question. And, like, let's start with the importance, then we go from there.
Okay, the importance. When you talk about marriage, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Am I ready? Am I ready to take my partner's exercise? Is no, is yes? Am I ready for the action, the argument, the misunderstandings? Because there is no way you will want to walk into a marriage or deciding that, okay, it's time for me to get married. You have to drop some things by the door. Those things that you have to drop, are you ready to actually say, over to you, please stay on this lane first. Let me see. It's like going to the market. You have your money, you have your list. But some don't have list anyway. Some just decide to, like, I'm going to the market. I'm going for shopping. I want to buy this whole thing. Maybe I want to make ogbono soup. What are the things? Are you going with your own private car? Or you're going to take a commercial vehicle? If you're going with your own car, don't forget there'll be traffic lights stopping you. You may accidentally bump into someone bump into you. Are you ready to actually take in all the time you're going to be arguing? You hit my car. This is what happened. So if you're going into marriage, the same thing happens to when you're going into marriage. You need to ask yourself, am I ready? Because one thing is for you to plan a wedding, another thing is for you to plan for the marriage itself. What comes with it?
I was going to ask you hammered on am I ready question. What kind of factors do you take a look at that makes you understand if you're ready or not? What are those particular attributes?
How long can you tolerate? What can you tolerate?
Baggage.
What can you really take in? As in, okay, as a lady, your man decides to wake up maybe even the day after your wedding, or maybe let's say a week after the wedding, and you already arranged the whole room, and he comes in, drop his suit here, drop his bag here, one of the shoe in the living room, the other one in the room. And you have one time again and again, try to arrange and mention, even if you did not even mention, maybe you are trying to, like, honey, where's your second shoe? Okay, the second pair is in the living room. You found it. Children are not involved in this yet.
That's another ball game on its own.
So you decide to pick it from the living room, take it to the room, arrange where the shoe racks are, put the suits, hang it, and put it where it's supposed to be. You do that first week, second week, third week. How long? Even if you're a patient breed, it will get to a stage, maybe before 3 months. My love, please, can you do me a favor when you come in? Don't bother to stay in the living room, just come to the room. You know, there's times you want to, like, okay, maybe if I do that, it will, you know, it will help me. It will make it easier for me. You will put it inside the room. You understand? So how long, what can you tolerate? Now, when it comes to patience from either your partner your in-laws, are you hospitable too?
In-laws.
Are you hospitable? Are you the kind who can make such a sacrifice with your kind of work, whether a career lady, a businesswoman, to sacrifice time for family engagement when it comes to your in-laws, like the same way you do for your own family? Because you're practically one of them now. And they will expect the same thing you do in your family, even much more, because now you're one of them. So tolerance, patience. You need to also have what we call long suffering. You take it in, just like I said. You have to continuously. But how long can you have that long suffering? Can you take, can it go deeper to the extent that even at times you want to, like, honey, I want you to please give me some time. I want to do certain things, if you don't mind. Maybe I want to go, like, let me come spiritual now. I want to go into fasting, Can you really, can your husband, can your partner, in case it tells you no, maybe you have a partner who loves sex, who want to have sex every night.
I will not respect
Many
that
believe
you're fasting.
whether you're fasting or not. I've had a certain discussion with someone who was like, no, I don't want to go into religion now, but I'm not mentioning whether I'm Christian or Muslim. But see, my husband will want to have sex. I said, it doesn't disturb your sex. What time do you break your fast? It doesn't have anything to do with it. As long as it's your husband, he is your husband. So you're not committing adultery. You're doing the right thing. So as long as it's your husband, if he's not agreeing to the fact that he will stay away, then do your whatever solemn time with your creator from morning till there about 7, and any other thing can happen there about that time. And from there, wash yourself up and clean up and continue to do your fasting. You continue the second day. So it comes in variances when it comes to what actually taken.
Okay, so when do you start? Because we're talking about before marriage. Now, how do you begin to, what questions do you begin to ask? Because there are so many issues, from your health issues, who is AS, who is SS, to religious issues, to moral values and standards. So when...
Tribal issues too.
Tribal issues
too.
When do you begin to ask the question?
You start from the moment you make up your mind that it's time for you to actually settle down. You start from that moment. It's time for me. Okay, let me give you an instance. Before I got married, I was from a Muslim background. Okay, my father is a Muslim, and as a Yoruba girl, they say your father's religion is your religion. That is it. But I grew up with my mom. And so, in as much as I grew up with my mom, I have the Muslim setting who are my extended family, my father's side. I tried everything possible to make sure that I learn how to do their Muslim prayers. I go to the mosque on Fridays. I try to prepare myself because I don't know whether I'm getting married to a Christian or Muslim. So I was preparing myself because I was over 20. And as much as I was preparing myself, I need to also have it at the back of my mind. What are the things I have learned from my grandmom, from my mom, to be a woman who is ready to actually settle down. So the same thing applies to someone who has, you get to a certain age. Many actually look at it, okay, some 30, some these days 35, it depends on, I just see it, the generation we have now, it depends on the flow.
No particular age group.
Oh, I've not seen the guy I want. When I see the guy I'm ready to marry to, I will start.
But then we still have people who get married pretty early.
Yes, we do.
But
Those
it's not
ones
as much as...
is not as much. Even these days, we have, in short, I have emceed events, wedding that they are just 21, 25, husband and wife.
So now, this proves that being ready is not determined by age.
It's not. Age is not involved. It's just coming. And you know that deep down inside you, I think it's high time I settle down. It doesn't matter. I got married when I was 21, 22.
Wow.
And, you know, my grandmother will always tell you that, see, whatever it is, since you have finished your educational background, what are you waiting for? Any other excesses are just packages you don't need. You don't have to carry. They're just overweighing you down. And before you know it, age will pass, time will pass. And you'll now be like, I'm yet to see my Mr. Right. So it is not determined by age. It is determined by your own self. I am ready now. The first step is this. Who is the guy? What do I want? Like, I'm sorry, because I'm a Christian, I'll bring this in.
Okay.
Some will like, I need to start praying for
Towards it.
You know, they believe, even the Muslims believe that whatever you ask God is more than ready to deliver to you. So some of them put it in that direction. Some parents will be the one to say, go and bring. We are praying for you. We are Africans. In those days, the mother, the father will go to places to like, bring us the names of all the male friends or the female friend around you. Maybe we'll go and pray and find out who is, you know, is the right person that has been destined for both of you to come together. So it is not determined by age. But the first question you need to ask yourself, like I said, is, are you ready? Ready in the sense that you prepare yourself, your mode of dressing, everything about you. You cannot be clubbing like you used to club. You need to look at the set of friends you move out with. We have shades of friends. I have, you have, Success have. She has. So we need to look at the friends. Okay, this one is married. When they throw the bouquet, that is another story for you. And you finally caught the bouquet. You have to start looking out for your Mr.
Getting the bouquet doesn't always mean you have to get married.
It doesn't really mean. But see, because we are Africans, everything means everything is related to what you are holding. You are holding that pen now. It's for a purpose. So everything, because we are Africans, we have to bring back ourselves. I've had a couple of friends who are white guys, and they'll tell you, you Africans like to be who you're not. We are we. You are you. We love you. We love your culture. We love your background. So we have to think like the typical African we're supposed to be. You throw the bouquet, you don't throw the bouquet. They know that in the Western, this thing, when they throw bouquet, you are the next in line to get married. So that alone will even make some ladies to go or some to go all the way and look at, hey, it's time for me, I must, before the end of the year.
Okay, Olori, let me add love. Let's bring love into the mix. When there are all these concerns, where do we rank love at? Where do we place love in this mix?
Love. Love is not blind, though.
The way you had to think about it first before,
Love is not blind, my dear. Love is it's clear, it's obvious. It cannot be hidden. It is only blind when you decide to cover your face with a veil so that you will not see those bad things you should. Love is not blind. It's not blind. You cannot love me and scream at me, even in a public place, because we are boyfriend and girlfriend. Because we are talking of before. I always thought, because I have 3 daughters and a guy. The boy is the first one. So I always tell my girl child, if you are dating a guy and he screamed at you in a public place, forget it. That is not love. You must respect yourselves. Not just the guy respecting you. You must also do the same. These days, you see ladies that we have seen many on the internet. You see your guy looking at a babe right beside you, and you slap the guy, bam. That's not love. You don't need to be violent to show to react to things, whether you like it or not. We have had people who decided before marriage, that's what we're talking about, before marriage, they've been dating for quite some time, and the guy decided to date a friend or a junior to the person, and she's like, okay, let me leave you. If you have a bird and you have been feeding, taking care of this bird for a long time, and the bird is like, I want to go out, I want to go out, allow the bird to go out. When the bird go all over, if you have not been doing the right thing, you will not come back. But what made the bird to come back and stay on that cage? Because the cage is closed. You need to open for it. You need to open the cage for the bird to go in. The bird will come and perch on that cage and be waiting for it to come and open. She decided to like let the guy, no, don't worry. I'll be right here. If I'm the right person,
You will come back.
so that is love. That is love, because you cannot measure what you and success. Jide, you cannot measure whatever is between the two of you with whatever is between someone else. They are two-faced. No matter if a king has 7 or 10 wives, they cannot all be the same. There will be a favorite.
Yes,
Okay,
there's
let
always
me,
a
let, me, let me
favorite.
bring us back to the point where you talked about African thing. I mean, pressures from family. And you asked this question that is usually a question, what are you waiting for? Looking at the career aspect of things, should this be one of the questions you ask yourself before you get into marriage for a man? Do you want to attain a particular level of success before you get into marriage? For a lady, many people talk about being career ladies. Is this something you should really take as something really important before you get into marriage?
Yes, it's very important. Medical doctor, a nurse, a media person like you and I. What else? An artist, a musical artist, a movie artist, name it. Every career, every profession, you must sit down and talk it. You must sit down and discuss it. You must sit down and look at your itinerary and see how you can manage it. Sometimes you put yourself in practical examination. As a doctor, you have an emergency. Your husband just got back from the United States or from any part of the country. You know, maybe he went for a program outside the country or even out interstate. And you were supposed to, you know, as husband and wife, have a nice time. My husband is back or my wife is back. And there was an emergency, an accident that required a life to be saved. And your husband, being the best at what he does, need to leave home at that same time to go and attend to that patient whose life needed to be saved. Will you allow him? Will you allow her?
I was going to ask. You've talked about the career aspect of
That's what
Let's just
before.
bring that into the mix.
I'm looking at this issue because I mean many people always have it. This issue of love and career and making a sacrifice. Merging the three, is love actually enough to say, okay, because I'm about to get married, I should sacrifice, where it's a case of conflicting careers? Is love actually
Let me bring this story in.
Yeah.
I've mentioned it before,
Okay.
that a husband refuses the wife to take on another job that takes her maybe a little bit far away from the house to earn more money for their children, because maybe you feel intimidated or so, and then he says, don't go.
Yeah, we have
Or before you get married,
we've had that.
a few weeks before you're married, he says, oh, I want a stay-at-home wife. I want you to dump your career.
But you could have discussed that before you got into that relationship.
And that's what I'm even thinking
Because
of. That's why I'm even thinking of it from the angle of a case where you both know your career persons and nobody is saying, you drop yours, I drop mine, and it's looking like nobody is about to back down. Like, what's the best way around things like this?
Oh, the best way around it is to say your no and to say your yes. They both make it capital, make it known. Don't hide it. Don't put it, maybe he will change his mind. because it's what you love. It's what you find. See, our career, our profession is not just what we work and we make money from. For someone like me, it's not just about the money. It's what I have inside, what I want to deliver, people I need to speak to, people that need to see me and be encouraged and be motivated and see purpose about their life, about who they are. I was privileged to interview an artist, Pasuma's daughter, years back when he was 25 years on stage. And then she was about rounding off to actually go for service or for an intern. And I was able to have on the red carpet. And I was like, now many people actually believe that you're going to walk on your father's carpet as in an artist who is well known, celebrity and all that. And she was like, I'm me, I'm Wasilat. My father is my father. He has been able to crave a niche for himself. I need to do the same for myself, because when my children come in, they must continue from there. So it's not all about, we have to do, we are born to be great. We are in this world to do something meaningful. So coming back to whether, yeah, if it suits you, maybe you're good at doing some other things. But these days you hardly see, except for a lazy woman who want to agree with a man that will not go to work. And some will like, I want you to be a full housewife. There's always a backlog. There is a, there is always a fallback. God forbid. Nobody prays for death. Nobody prays for unforeseen circumstances walking. But when they come, how will you be able to cope?
Yeah.
Terrible.
We have some parts of the culture that says the family will come and pack everything, the woman will be left empty-handed. And you see some of them on the road. It's not all the people that you see on the road who are beggars determined to find themselves there. Some, after the demise of their husband, everything was taken away from them. They are left with nothing. And they never learned to do anything. They don't have any skill, as in weaving, doing knitting, sewing. Do you know I can use my hand to sew this skirt without a machine? I've done it before when I was young, before I got married.
Impressive.
I cut a material for myself and used my hand to sew because there was no machine. And it was part of the things we were trained when we were in primary school, secondary school. So when you see things like this, to avoid such a thing happening to you, my dear, you don't need to fight it. You don't need to struggle it. But it's a thing you need to sit down and look at. Look at it together. Come, what happens? This is before marriage. What happened? You know why you are talking? Truth will come out too, because you are not yet married.
Okay, so now let me bring this scenario. What if the so-called marriage, what if you're going into it because, say, the lady has fallen pregnant and there's pressure to get married because she's pregnant?
Yeah.
How do they face that?
They will have to face it. No,
Do they have to? Do you advise that they marry or not?
Now, coming to talk about pregnancy, because pregnancy, a life is involved. Some of us don't believe in termination of pregnancy. So you have to sit down and express yourself. Okay, I'll have this child, but on one condition. If we are married, I will still continue with my career. And if he says no, so what do you have for me? Because I can sit back. Of course, I want to take care of my baby. She's my baby, it's my baby. I will need to. And I'm loving, waiting, anticipating to actually nurse my baby. Take care of her, don't want her to cry, don't want her to be left in the school while I'm doing other things. As mothers, it's only a wicked mother that will leave the child in the school and be running after money. Even if you are looking after that money, you must look for a way to always communicate and say, teacher, so person, please, I will be in that school in the next 30 minutes. But if anything should happen, please, I'll look for another alternative for my daughter to be
Okay.
paid.
I mean, I have more questions to ask,
I
but
do too, but
conversations like this, you can't even exhaust them in 24
No,
hours. And hopefully we'll get to do this some other time.
No
of
problem.
course,
It's
No
been
problem.
splendid having you come
very
to do this.
explanatory. So, final advice for people who knows, maybe people that
I don't know why
are
she keeps
looking.
pointing
No,
at you.
I have to point. Judetri, this is 2021.
What's going on here right now?
What is good for Igechi is good for success.
I don't
too.
And
understand.
too much is not on my side.
Okay,
Olori.
let's end it on this note.
Okay.
Marrying into a new family. Let's just end it on that note quickly. How do you go about things like this, especially
Okay.
when it's a family that is looking like they're not accepting you?
You need to be patient. You need to encourage yourself. I will say encourage yourself in the Lord. Pray more. A woman must know how to pray. Men, their life is very simple. And you have some men who love to do that too. But women are known to be prayer warriors. So what keeps this institution is prayer.
Prayer.
You will go to church, they will need to pray for you, Abby. You will go to mosque, they will need to pray for you to solemnize it, Abby. So go back to that prayer. That is the originator of the institution.
Wow.
And all will work well.
This is just so
Strong way
perfect.
to finish this discourse. Thank you so much, Olori.
Thank you
Thank
so
you for
much. It
having
was
me.
It's
very
been wonderful.
enjoyable.
Delighted
Thank
to
you.
be here.
Okay, so we'll come back with more. That is social media buzz after the break.